How's it going, everybody? I hope you guys are having a good summer. And this will be my last hockey related video for the summer. And then probably towards September, I will make more videos and such. But yeah, so the Edmonton Oilers probably had the best offseason in the NHL. They were not so busy at first. On July 1st, they started slow. I thought this is going to be... Bob Stauffer made a tweet and he was like, yeah, it's going to be probably a quiet day for the Edmonton Oilers. And you're like, fuck. Like, you're like, well, you know how like Edmonton, like the Edmonton media always is like, oh, Edmonton is done for today. And you're like, god damn it, you know, like, come on. I was not getting pissed off, but I was more like, come on, like, make a move or something, make a sign-in. So they did. They made a trade around... So I'm in the Eastern time zone, so I think it was around 1 or 2 o'clock-ish. They made a trade with Buffalo and acquired Devon Levi. They also get a 7th-round pick in the deal, and they move out a 3rd-round pick for Devon Levi. And you're like, wow, that's really good value in that trade, because Devon Levi is a project right now. You don't know what's going on because it started out really promising for him, and then Buffalo just decides to send him down to Rochester, and he put up really good numbers, you know, in the American Hockey League. Hasn't really worked out in the NHL yet, but I think a new start will really, you know, ramp up his career again and get him going. But anyways, they trade him to Edmonton, so I think he jumps up to basically our future goalie. There's a couple of them in the system, but I think this is really good because now we have a 3 goalie system. I'll get to the other goalie signing in a little bit, but now we got 3 goalies, and I think he's going to be the backup. I don't think Jari's going to get much playing time next year, and if he does, I feel like Jari's probably going to either, 1, be buried in the minors, or they might have to eat up the salary, which I don't hope, but it might have to be to move him. So I think Devon Levi was just a project, really, you know, under the radar pickup that I think is going to work out for them, because he's probably just going to come out of nowhere and be that new, probably future #1 goaltender that they're looking for. So I think that's a really good signing, and I like the Devon Levi pickup. And then it doesn't stop there. I think like an hour or 2 later in the day, Darnell Nurse gets traded, and my initial thought was Darnell Nurse would never get moved. We'd probably have to eat up all of his cap, like not all of his cap, but like we'd have to sit there and eat up some of the cap of his money, like 2 or 3 million, for example. And you never thought a team would take all of his salary. And here comes San Jose. They said, you know what? We'll trade it. We'll give you 2 young players, a young player and a prospect, for Darnell Nurse. I'm just going to call one of the players Big Muck. That's going to be his nickname. I'm not going to like say it. I'll probably botch his name, but Shakir Big Muck. I'm just going to call him that. And then we get a prospect, Zach Sharp, I think was the guy's name. I just saw like the first guy that, like, I saw the tweet where Elliot Friedman, I can't talk today, made the tweet, and he's like, Shakir is in the deal. And I'm like, I'm just going to call him Big Muck, because I think that's going to be his nickname towards him. We traded for him. He has raw potential, like a top 4 potential. I think right now he's probably going to be slotted down to like the 6th and 7th defenseman, because Edmonton right now is carrying 8 defensemen. So I feel like one of those defensemen is going to get moved, and Big Muck is going to be like the 6th, 7th defenseman right now. So we'll see how that goes. Zach Sharp, I have really no clue. I know he's a defenseman with probably like C to C level potential right now, C or B. Like, he's not the best prospect in San Jose's system, but he's like kind of just like the mid tier of San Jose's process system, and He played with Owen Michaels, who just got signed today. So in Western Michigan, I believe. So got him signed, and he looks like a decent prospect. So and then everything started picking up. I'm sorry, I had to reset my Puckpedia. I use to kind of track the signings here, and I just had to refresh the page here, but it started picking up. So we signed Ryan Shea. I think this is a bargain signing too. At 5 years, he had a really good $4 million per year. He had a really good year in Pittsburgh. 36 points, I believe. He's a two-way defenseman who can really, I think Elliot Friedman said it best. He really likes him because he can move the puck. And he's like a really good two-way defender. And I think this is one of the most under-the-radar defenseman pickups out there in free agency. Like, you saw a ton of money for other guys and stuff, but I think overall Ryan Shea, actually I saw a lot of posts on X or Twitter that a lot of Edmonton fans were looking at him too. So I think this is a really under-the-radar pickup. I think he's probably going to start out as like the 5-6 guy, because right now I think it's going to be Bouchard, Ekholm, then Woolman and Murphy, and then I think Shea and probably like Emberson is going to be like the 5 and 6. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I look at it right now. So sorry about that. Had to cough, but I think that's what I look at right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I look at the defense right now, because Big Muck and Stastny is gonna be the extras for defensemen. But I could be absolutely wrong here. But yeah, they signed him. Then they signed this American Hockey League guy. Apparently, a lot of people say he's the sneaky, under-the-radar pickup. I listened to Elliot Friedman's podcast, the 32 podcast, and he said this is like a sneaky good pickup. And Edwards Trailmax. Yeah, playing the American Hockey League. I wonder if I can look up his stats right now. I probably could. I might have to just like Google, because I'm really interested to see what his numbers were like in the American Hockey League. So I'll just use Elite Prospects here, random site. So this is obviously a Bakersfield Condor. This is going to be like your Max Jones like call up. So in Grand Rapids, he had a pretty decent. He had 26 goals, 16 assists, 42 points at 64 games, and he was a plus 29. It looks like. So he had a decent season in American Hockey League. He's the sneaky good under the radar pickup, you know. So we'll go back here. Yeah, just looks like a sneaky good under the radar pickup. Probably will start the year in Bakersfield. I feel like this guy could probably be like under the radar. Mike Babcock might be like, you know what, he makes the roster, which would be crazy, but I think he starts out in the American Hockey League, and this looks like just a sneaky good pickup. Then the moves just kept on coming and coming and coming. So Kapanen signs, and I legit thought Kapanen was leaving because his wife made an Instagram, like I think it was a story saying like goodbye Canada. So I was like, uh-oh, is Kapanen like leaving? Is he gonna sign with another team? But nope, they got him at a really good value in my opinion. Kapanen is a playoff performer. We all know now how good that Draisaitl, Kapanen, and Podkolzin line was. against Anaheim, and yeah, he re-signs in Edmonton for 1 year, $2.6 million. They're like, wow. Like, season-wise, he's kind of but in like the playoffs, man, he just turns it on another level. And then I was really happy. Cap, he's one of my favorite playoff performer Edmonton Oilers right now, because he gets going and he just clutches. Like, mostly every single game, you're like, wow, he's been one of the best forwards for Edmonton. So I was really happy that they brought him back. Then we get another really under the radar pickup in Matthew Joseph, who had no points for LA. I think he got bought out by the Blues, and I think he was a free agent, like deadline pickup by LA. I could be wrong, but he had no points with LA. This is like a DJ Smith assistant coach move. I think DJ said Smith was really in the process of signing him because he knows him best when he had him in Ottawa. And for St. Louis, I believe 1 year, I can't remember what year it was, but he was the only player, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, I gotta look again. He was the only player that was a plus minus player. He had like a +1. So I think he's a really under the radar pickup as well. So excited to see what he does. But with all these forwards, I feel like he's either going to be a scratch or just like make the fourth line. So, and then they bring back Max Jones. I'm like, oh, I like Max Jones. That's good. It's probably going to start at Bakersfield again, and then be that emergency call up. But when Max Jones plays, he's just fun to watch. He's legit fun to watch, and at $850K for Max Jones, I really like that. And then towards the end of the night, I think I was just ready to leave to go watch fireworks for Canada Day. They announced they have signed Freddie Andersen to a 1-year deal. I think it's $2.8 million, but it's a cap hit of $1 million and then like $1.8 million in like bonus signings. So that was a really under the radar. I actually like this more than like Bobrovsky in Toronto, where Bobrovsky's making $7 million. And people are gonna say, Jesse, Freddie Andersen's always injured. You really look at the Stanley Cup playoffs and what he did for Carolina. He really legit carried Carolina to that Stanley Cup final. Yeah, he didn't play like the last 3 games or whatever because he was injured. But look what his record was. Sorry. Look at his record when he was carrying at Carolina. He had a ridiculous record in the postseason playing for Carolina, and now he's going to be the starting goaltender for Edmonton. So now you have Freddie Andersen, you have Devin Levi, and you have Tristan Jarry. This is a sane goalie battle for the first time in a long time. I really like the goalies in Edmonton. Before, you just ride with Skinner and Pickard and be like, I don't know. And then they're all gone. So, yeah, I really like this offseason for Edmonton. Stan really killed it, man. He really killed it. The only, to make it like an A+ season, like an A+ offseason, is to add a top 6 forward. But I have a feeling that they're going to do that at the deadline. I think, again, listening to Ellie Friedman's podcast, that he believes they are really targeted at Vladimir Tarasenko right now as like a top 9 kind of option right now. I wouldn't mind him for cheap, like a year or 2 for a cheap, under the radar kind of signing. But I think they're going to get a top 6 forward towards the deadline, because you're going to have a shitload of cap space, and use that cap space to go get a top 6 forward at the deadline. So I think that's what's going to happen. So if any other news, like any other big blockbuster news happens, I'll try to make another video again. But other than that, I am going to get out of here. Those are my thoughts on free agency. I think Edmonton has straight up an A grade free agency, and all these trades they've made, they've just been solid. And I think this is probably deep as a team from like 2024. I really like their additions. I think this team is ready to go, and I'm excited to see how we do going towards the new season. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Babcock, but hey man, maybe he pushes his team to win a Stanley Cup. You never know. So I'm gonna get out of here, and you guys have a great summer. And with that, I'm gonna say goodbye. I thought Edmonton had a great off season, and now I guess I'm gonna go enjoy summer because I really miss hockey, and I hope hockey returns. I hope October flies by and it's October again.